folks, this is my latest acquisition. It's a Harley Benton single cutaway LP Junior, Les Paul Junior. I suppose they dare not use the full name, but there you go. This is not a review. There are plenty of reviews of this guitar on YouTube with guys, you know, very comprehensive reviews that you can check out. The reason I am making this video is to talk about the setup of it. The guitar itself is fantastic. For the money, 177 British pounds. I guess that's around, or maybe less than $200. I'm not sure. But it's unbelievably, stupidly great value for money. I don't know how they do it for the money, even if they're built in countries where the labour is very cheap. It's how you turn out a thing like this kind of quality for that kind of money, I don't know. Anyhow, when they make these things, they obviously, especially at that kind of price, they can't have the skilled people spending lots of time before shipping to set it up. And so therefore they must just put the parts together, put it in a box, done. So while I am incredibly pleased with the guitar, I like this type of single pickup guitar anyway. While I'm very pleased with it, when you can't get it in tune properly, it's so an understatement to say that I find it incredibly frustrating. Now there are two things. Basically, the height of the nut and then the intonation set at the bridge so that it will tune properly and play in tune. So if I start with the nut, my opinion is that the nut, you want to have it as low as you can possibly get it without the string buzzing against the first fret. So the first thing I did was take the nut down. I'll tell you why you have to have the nut as low as you can get it. Because just say you tune it up so that a G chord sounds great. You've got that open G string in there. Then you want to go and play an E chord, and you're pushing this G string down at the first fret to produce the G sharp note in the E chord. You tune it up so that it sounds great on a G. Then when you go and press that down, it sounds sharp. You tune it up so it sounds great on an A chord, and then it'll sound terrible on a C chord. This kind of thing. So, because what you're actually doing is when you press that down, you're actually bending the string downwards. Now if your nut is high, then you're bending it down further, which raises the pitch of the note. If the nut is as low as you can possibly get it, then you're going to minimize that effect. I guess the mechanics of the thing is that you never get it totally perfect, but if you have that as low as it can, then you will minimize that effect, and you can play. I don't know if I'm in tune now, but not bad. So my method of lowering the nut is not to mess with the slots for your strings. Most nuts are not glued in there very heavily. They might have just a couple of little spots of glue just to hold them in place while you string it up. so it doesn't fall out or move. But other than that, so anyway, other than that, no problem. Slacken all the strings right off and just pull them to one side. I take just a little piece of wood to avoid damaging the nut across the nut. Just give it a bit of a tap and it'll usually come free. Then I take a piece of pretty coarse sandpaper on a flat surface, put it on a very flat surface, hold your nut and rub the bottom of the nut on the sandpaper, so you're taking some material off the bottom of the nut and you're not messing with the slots in the top. I did this. I have to admit I took it down a bit too much, but with my amateur woodworking stuff and whatever, I've got some very thin hardwood veneer, and it is so very, very thin. I can't tell you how, I don't know what it is, but it's very thin. I cut a sliver of that and glued that onto here, and it brought the nut up just a tiny bit again, and it was fine. So that's it, the nut, and the reasons why you need to have it as low as you can get it without it buzzing on the first string. I mean, some people, you see some videos where they say if you put your finger here and then there should be certain clearance here and all that kind of thing. I don't know. Just get it as low as you can without it buzzing is the answer. The other thing, taken to the other end, we go to the bridge. Now, these wraparound bridges here are on 2 slots, and they're on 2 posts. Now, this is the cheap, quick factory thing. One of my posts that the bridge is on was not all the way home down flat onto the body. It was raised a little bit out of the hole. So I put a piece of wood on there just to minimise the damage, give it a couple of very light taps, and it went down onto the body where how it should do. So I cured that. The other thing is, the back of the bridge on either side here has 2 little screws, and obviously if you tighten them, it pushes the bridge further away. It pushes on the post, pushes the bridge further away. Now, my intonation here at the 12th fret, from the open string to the 12th fret octave, all the notes on the 12th fret were a little bit sharp, which meant that I had to increase the length of the string a little. So what I did, slacken all the strings right off, because you do not want to try and tighten these screws, these little screws, with any tension on the strings, because you'll either strip the threads or your screwdriver will slip in the slots and damage them, and then you're sort of stuck. So you don't want any tension on it. I found that even with the string slackened right off, this bridge did not really want to move. So I put a thumb on the front of the bridge here, and I pushed it back away from the post, which meant that the screw was then not even in contact with the post at all, so it just screwed in really super easy. So I did that, push it back with your thumb, screw it in a bit, do the same both sides, and it was enough to do the trick. These bridges actually have individual adjustments here as well. So on each string you've got individual adjustment. So, and I did actually adjust these 5th and 6th strings back a little bit. Some people on some reviews, they complain that these are a bit sharp if you're the kind of person who likes to rest your heel of your hand on the bridge or whatever, but I think that's a bit nitpicking. I never do that anyway. But my action right now, which you can adjust by just screwing these 2 posts up or down, it's not mega low. It could be doing with a little bit lower, but this bridge now is as low as it will go. So if you wanted a lower action, I have seen on some other reviews that you can replace this bridge pretty cheaply with some bridges, with a bridge that is a bit lower. The I don't know what you call them now. It's not quite so high, and it's smoother to the touch, and it's not quite so high, so you can get your action down a little bit more if you want. But I'm not going to bother with it. I'm fairly happy. So if you can get it so that it sounds in tune, an open string against the next string, and then you bring one string up high against the open string, it should still harmonize and stay in tune. So love the sound of that major third against the octave really low there. So there's nothing wrong with that. So I've done the trick. Nut low as you can get it without it buzzing on the first fret. Set your intonation on the bridge correctly, and then hopefully, if I'm still in tune now, because of the way the guitar is set up, there is no way that it will be absolutely perfect. But to the human ear, you get it as good as you can, and I think I'm happy with it now. I was very happy with the guitar before that, apart from the fact that I needed to set it up so that it would play in tune. I think I've now achieved that, so hope this helps. If you have one of these or any other guitar that you just cannot get to tune right, check out these things. Thanks for watching.